Okay, there's our last live
That's
show.
right. Should be able to hear me now.
Good. You did make sure you put the URL.
Yep, there it goes.
Yep.
Okay, there's our last live show.
Right.
There it goes.
We didn't have the codec.
Alright, so we're live on right now?
Twitter and YouTube, and if I can check it in just a second. How do you...
What?
Nothing. Hold on. Yes, we are live. And you can hear us. Hello, YouTube. Yes, we are live. And you can hear us. Alright, you have 2 minutes, Cole. Hello, YouTube. Yes, we are live.
Testing out all these.
Tyler's just over here rolling our open.
Yeah, I'm testing it out.
I'll hand my phone real quick.
Hold on.
So we're live on. Oh.
Yeah, he boosted all the audio. What are you, 3?
Yeah, I believe so.
That better?
Yeah, that sounds a little. Well, it just sounds like my mic is peaking. My mic turned up really loud.
Yeah, my mic sounds like it's peaking too, but I think it's because he turned up everything. Wait, yeah. There you go. Mine's better now.
Yeah,
Better?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yours is still peaking.
Yeah, mine's still peaking hard. It's on 3. I'm on 3. Yeah.
Keep going.
Sound good?
Keep going.
Check
down.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
There you go.
1,
He
2.
sounds
Yeah.
good now. How do I still sound? Do I still sound good, or is it peaking?
Maybe it's
you
my
sound
headset. Does
No.
that sound fine?
No.
Mine's peaking for you too, like my
Yeah.
headset.
Now it's better.
Yeah?
Now it's good. Now,
Okay.
keep talking. Yep.
Keep talking.
Sounds good. Can y'all hear me pretty clear?
Yeah, you sound good. Am I good? Am I good to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I guess that sounds. Yeah, that sound. Oh, wow.
Just don't yell.
Hard for Cole to do that. It's Shapiro.
What was that?
What?
Hey, Steven. Keep that junk off of our.
Hey, we're
our stream.
on everything but Facebook, okay? Let me tell you about
We're live on
my
everything right now?
best friend.
Well, welcome YouTube and Twitter and Twitch. Are we on Twitch, Tyler?
We are on Twitch.
Well, thank you if you're joining
Do we
us.
have a Twitch account?
Yes.
We have a Twitch
I
account.
did not
everything.
know this. I really
Yeah.
want to see. Hold on. I really want to look at our Twitch account. Wait, okay. And we are live on Facebook, actually. Guys.
Live on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If
Well,
you're
we're not-
live
we
on
haven't
Facebook,
started-
right?
Have you started the stream yet on Facebook?
No.
Okay, you might want to start that.
No, he's definitely started.
No, I've definitely started.
Oh, wow. Okay,
No, it's
cool.
it's definitely up. All right, we're up on
We're up.
Facebook. Thanks, thanks for joining us. If you're on with us live on a Tuesday, call us 205-317-4906. React to what we just found out is pretty much the same in the top 25 with the college football playoff rankings. Alabama 1, no surprise. Clemson 2, Notre Dame 3, Michigan 4, Georgia is at 5, and Oklahoma is at 6. So if you'd like to get in on the action, like to call us, talk to us, hit up the phone line, 205-317-4906. Steven, where are we starting today?
Well, Cole, you mentioned it. Like you said, the new rankings came out. Pretty much everything stayed the same. Our UAB Blazers did not make it, sadly. I will have a blog coming out hopefully tomorrow that will say why they should and why they're very good this year and why it's historically great for the season they're having this year and last year. But away from football a little bit, we're going to start in the NBA because we had a couple big news happenings this past weekend and today, or I believe it was last night actually. Trouble in the Bay a little bit there, Cole.
Trouble in the Bay. Yeah.
Trouble in the Bay Area.
They lost in overtime, correct?
They
Warriors
lost
did.
in overtime to the Clippers. But the thing that everybody's talking about isn't the loss. It's the fact that Draymond and KD have a little bit of beef going on here. So for those of you who didn't see it, Draymond Green gets they get a defensive stop. Draymond Green gets the ball, and KD is kind of on the side of him, asking for the ball, doing this, and Draymond just kind of ignores him. You can't really tell if Draymond actually sees him or he just kind of is doing his own thing. Draymond dribbles up the court, gets it stolen from him. They don't get a last shot off because there's about 5 seconds left in the game, and it's a tie game, so they end up going to overtime without getting a last-second shot. KD and then some other Warriors are then mad at Draymond Green when they go back to the bench because he didn't get the ball to one of their scorers, Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant. I believe Steph Curry was out.
Yeah, he was out. He was sitting out. I think he was resting. I don't
know if he's resting or he's hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm. He's resting a sore leg or a
something like
sprained
that,
ankle or something like that. Yeah.
Regardless, Steph Curry wasn't in the game. Some of the Warriors, especially Kevin Durant, were very angry with the decision making. Draymond Green, they believe it cost them the game, and Kevin Durant made that clear in the huddle. And you can see if you see any replays, you can see Draymond Green, just throwing a fit on the side, and of all people, DeMarcus Cousins trying to calm him down. And then apparently it spilled over into the locker room, where then Kevin Durant and Draymond Green go at it even more, and Draymond Green questions Kevin Durant's loyalty kind of, and talks about his impending free agency, and he calls him the same word he called LeBron that sparked that comeback there. He called him the B word several times.
Of course, because that's what Draymond does best, right?
And, yes, and so now. There was a report earlier that Draymond wouldn't play tonight at all. Is it tonight or tomorrow? It's the one game. He's suspended for one game, and whenever their next game is.
Okay.
But it was reported that Draymond wouldn't play at all because Draymond didn't want to. And then the Warriors suspended him for a game because he got too personal with Kevin Durant in their battle there. So my question is, do the Warriors do something about this, or do they just kind of let it go, Cole?
I mean, there's nothing really the Warriors can do this. You've enabled Draymond to the point where there's nothing really you can do if you're the Warriors to really change the culture. Draymond is the culture of the Warriors. He's supposed to be the tough guy of the Warriors. You bring in DeMarcus Cousins because you want more quote-unquote tough guys on the Warriors team because you've got a reputation amongst Steph Curry and Kevin Durant of some guys who are kind of soft. Let's just be honest. Kevin Durant finds out he has a burner account. Steph Curry's no defensive guru as it is. He's a smaller guy, smaller point guard, and particularly known to be kind of soft on the defensive side. So I think if you look at it, you have a lot of guys who need some leadership right now, and the Warriors have kind of. When Steph Curry comes off the team, we saw last year 14 games where the Warriors really struggled when Kevin Durant was leading the way. For the longest time, I've really questioned whether or not Kevin Durant can do this on his own, and I'm still a big advocate on the fact that I think Kevin Durant needs to leave the Warriors at some point and prove to me that he can compete for a championship without the Warriors. I still to this day think that. My opinion does not change, and it will not change until he does something like that.
So I think if anything,
but to answer your question, I will say this. No, I don't think the Warriors will do anything about it because Draymond is kind of the energizer bunny of this team.
Right.
He's the nuisance. He's the Dennis Rodman. He's the guy that gets this team going. So I don't think there's anything that Steve Kerr, the Warriors organization, nothing they will do. The NBA, of course, steps in, suspends Draymond, whatever. I get it.
Well, it wasn't even the NBA. It was actually the Warriors organization.
So it was an internal thing.
It was internal. Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Well, so they suspend him because basically they think that there's some tension between him and Durant. They just want him to cool off, I guess. Is that what they're saying? Yeah, just kind of a cool off
kind of moment, and it was just kind of also a thing of Draymond just kind of thinks he's bigger than the team almost.
Yeah, I guess if you're the Warriors, you have to do something, right? You can't just let it just kind of.
My question was more of the fact that both of these guys have money coming their way this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question was more of like, do the Warriors, are they trying to pick a side here?
Come on, I don't think this whole subject is going to affect the way, the decision ultimately Kevin Durant and Draymond Green make. Obviously they're really good buddies and, they've been together for a while now. And like I said, I don't think that's going to affect the decision coming in the summer for both of them.
Well, see, I don't even know if it's going to affect necessarily their decision. I'm just thinking that on the Warriors side, if Kevin Durant comes out and then is kind of mentioning something about beef with Draymond Green or has problems with this, do they try to make a move here? Basically trying to get Kevin Durant over Draymond Green, or do they stick on the side of Draymond Green, who's been their glue piece?
Yeah, I think when you look at it as a whole, the Warriors are going to just run through the NBA this year. And even if the playoffs started right now, I would put the Warriors over everybody, obviously. But I think Kevin Durant is kind of looking at Draymond, and he's grown up a lot during his time with the Warriors. He has been kind of he's gotten a lot tougher, I think, with his time with the Warriors. And I think it's funny that you point out DeMarcus Cousins was one of the first guys to rush over to the scene of everything that was going on, because he's normally the guy who's been throwing the temper tantrums, who's been kind of known to be kind of emotionally driven and whatnot. But that's just who Draymond is. For people who are surprised, this has been Draymond forever.
I think the main surprising thing is that he doesn't normally do it against his own teammates. You don't see that kind of the Warriors throughout their run that they've had so far. You haven't seen much internal beef going on.
Yeah, I mean, and this.
So I think that's why it's surprising. It's just you haven't seen Draymond is a guy that gets is very energetic, very passionate guy, but you just haven't seen him take that out on a teammate where it's spilled over this much. He's probably taken it out on teammates before, but it's never spilled out to where somebody's been suspended or the team has had to take action, or there's been, reports of disturbances in the locker room, stuff to that effect.
I think that you look at this team as a whole, and that is the one flaw that this team has. They can play phenomenal defense. They can shoot the ball fantastic. They play well as a group. They have a bunch of great ball handlers. But the one flaw about the Warriors, I think, that has been a very big knock to them is they lack that self-toughness, like that mental toughness that they really need, because you have Draymond, who's emotionally unstable at times. You have Kevin Durant with the burner account. You have Steph Curry, who has still yet to, in all the finals he's been in, has yet to be a finals MVP. I have big question marks about that. When he gets in the finals in the big moments, it's kind of like he just shies away from the moment. So I mean, this team has a lot of question marks, but again, they're just that talented. They're just that good. They're going to continue to do what they do best, and that's win games. It remains to be seen what happens after this offseason. Now, that's what I'm more intrigued about, is what happens after this season's over with.
Yeah, because that was what I was thinking, because Kevin Durant's going to be a free agent. Draymond is going to be a free agent too, I believe. And then he's also, regardless, I think even if he's not going to be a free agent, he's stated publicly that he wants money that he thinks he deserves. So I think he's restricted, and I think he's going to opt out.
So here's the big question: Does Kevin Durant, at the end of the day, do you guys think that he resigns?
I don't. I think if they win another championship, he may not. Just because he's won championships now, and then I think he might do the thing that you're talking about, Cole, just trying to lead his own squad somewhere else.
I think that's something that he needs to do for himself and for the people who are really doubting him. I think that he has to, because look, LeBron went and learned how to win a championship with D Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami, and then came back to Cleveland and proved that he could take a team with literally no experience in the finals and win a championship. I think Kevin Durant needs to do that as well, because a lot of people are still going to kind of disregard these championships. He can validate that by winning it somewhere else and showing that, hey, I am a championship player.
Right.
I was the piece the Warriors were missing. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't what I was missing. Their team wasn't missing.
Kevin Durant's never going to be the guy, the piece the Warriors were missing. I mean, the Warriors were 7-3-1 team before he got there. So it was never like they were missing a piece and Kevin Durant fielded it. It was just like hey, this 73-1 team just got the second best player in the
But
NBA.
He was the piece that took them to the next level, from championship team to this is a dynasty and this is an unstoppable team and an all-time great team. That was the level they achieved with Kevin Durant.
I think they do get an all-time great team with Kevin Durant, but I don't know necessarily if it turned it into a dynasty or not, just because of the fact that, I mean, they were winning games before. I mean, they made it to the championship the year before. They won the championship the year before, win 73 games the next season without Kevin Durant. So I think one way or the other, with or without him, they were going to become a dynasty. But I think you're correct in the fact that they're an all-time great team, like arguably the best team ever with Kevin Durant.
I mean, they're trying to stack them up against some of the all-time great teams that we've seen in over the last few years. So I mean, that's something that we've got to take acknowledge to.
Okay. So. Well, moving on to the other NBA news, Jimmy Butler is now officially a 76er. They released the pictures of him in the
Jimmy Buckets.
The new pictures of him in the 76er uniform today. 76ers trade Robert Covington and Dario Saric, and then I believe a second-round pick.
Rounder.
And then the Timberwolves traded Jimmy Butler and a two-way player to the 76ers. So, I mean, in my opinion, the 76ers just killed this deal. I mean, you trade two league average, maybe a little bit above league average players for a top 15 player. For an all-star pretty much. And, there's a couple of guys that said, maybe the 76ers depth is what hurt
Yeah.
the most because they didn't have much of a bench before. But see, my counter to that is Jimmy Butler can then play with those bench players just because you're a starter doesn't mean you're not going to get time playing with bench players and make that whole squad better. So, I mean, I think the 76ers killed this deal.
Yeah. Well, you definitely go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
No, I was pulling up the other offers that teams offered for Jimmy Butler. The Rockets, see, they offered Eric Gordon, Nene, and 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. I don't know why the Timberwolves picked this trade above the others they got, because 2 first-rounders, I mean, I'm not saying
Eric Gordon, former six-man of the year.
That's what I'm saying. Robert Covington and Dario Saric aren't terrible players.
I think it had everything to do with the fact that the Timberwolves and the Rockets are in the same conference.
Yeah,
they're both
you think
in the Western Conference.
I
think that it's the kind of the Greg Popovich effect of, hey, we're not trading it to any of our competition. If they're in the West, they're their competition to us. We're not going to trade.
I mean, if you're the Timberwolves, you don't get any. I mean, you at least get better for future, and then you get decent players now if you're trading to the Rockets.
Well, here's the thing.
You don't get any better. You get worse with this trade with the 76ers.
Yeah, I kind of see where they're coming from, because those 2 first-round picks would also determine where the Rockets place, right? And they're arguably one of the best teams in the
right.
NBA,
So you're not getting a lottery pick.
Yeah.
As I say, you're not getting a lottery pick, but at the same time, I mean, you're getting first-round picks are historically better than second-round picks, historically, in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're getting future picks, and you're also getting Eric Gordon and Nene. I mean, Nene's super old, but at the same time, I mean, you're not – like, Eric Gordon is a scorer. You're automatically getting a 20-point-per-game score out of that. Robert Covington and Dario Saric aren't going to get you 20 points per game. They're going to get you 12-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're getting – like I said, you're getting league average, good role players for a top 15 player, whereas you get 6th man of the year and a great defensive center in that, and then also future. Now you're getting a second-round pick with Robert Covington and Dario Saric.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the impact that Jimmy Butler is going to have on the 76ers this year. Does this make them top contender in the East now, guys?
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to top right now, from the start of the season, the Raptors are the favorite. I think you can go against it. I'm not saying the Celtics don't have the talent or anything. They just haven't been able to put it together so far. I think if you give them time, they can definitely put it together. But right now, like, you have to give the Raptors the favorite just because their defense. Everything else is Tyler's playing fireplace behind me.
We're making sure that Steven has a nice warm thing over his head.
Yes, I'm trying to. It's cold outside.
Season. It's a little warm.
Baby,
it's a little cold outside. It is brisk outside, by the way. Now, but getting back on the topic, though, of Jimmy Butler, I don't think that this is going to make the 76ers a better team than – maybe not better than the Raptors are right now, because Raptors are clicking on all cylinders, and Kawhi Leonard is – when he's healthy, I think everybody forgets the guy is still a top 5 player. When he's healthy, he's
I would say, well, he's looked great this year in the game. He's rested on back-to-back, but he's looked great in the games he's played. And they I mean, like, I read, y'all know who Zach Lowe is?
No.
He's NBA writer. He does 10 things. I think he does them once a week, or maybe once a month. And he just talks about 10 things that are surprising to him in NBA, and he breaks down stats and everything like that. I mean, it's crazy. The Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, and we have a call.
You're on Under Review. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Up?
Oh, man, a frequent caller. I like it.
Logan from Trustful.
Hey, you can say I'm your favorite, but y'all are number one in my heart.
Oh, we're number one. What a sweetheart.
Great. Ever since Matt and Scott left Jocks, my heart's never been the same, so y'all are just replacing where they left.
Hey, we love it.
We come on about the same time, too, so it's almost like we're just one guy goes in, somebody moves in.
Hey, if you want to tell Jocks about us, tell them to hit us up.
Hey, I mean, honestly, y'all have to be better than that mid-morning show that they have. It's awful.
Oh man, three-man front. Yeah. we all knew what he's talking about.
Three-man front's like the Spain Park journal team or something. Like, it's just like it's just terrible.
Logan just
they still have Jocks Primetime on?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do at night. No. They do have that still on at night.
That might top three-man front.
Yeah, guys. Just talking about NBA, I just got 2 points, and I just want to say Carmelo Anthony's the most overrated player probably in NBA last 20 years.
Wow.
And then 2, I think the top of the East later in the year is going to be the Celtics. I know the Raptors have come on. I know Jimmy Butler's going to make a difference in Philly, but to me, with the kind of the injuries are kind of coming together finally, and they have the best coach in the East and maybe in the whole league, I think the Celtics are going to pull it out.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and that's I tried to kind of say a little bit is you got to give the Celtics more time to gel with everybody that's coming back from injury, and they just haven't had time to get that chemistry going with everybody and trying to figure out what lineups work best and who works best with what and everything like that, and who's going to be the scorer that they need to go to in certain times, and different stuff that they're not used to. I mean, like Jason Tatum's not really used to playing with Gordon Hayward or Kyrie that much because he was hurt all last year. So,
what I just find hilarious, I'm guessing all you did see about the Kyrie Irving comments. Logan, did you see this comment that he made earlier today or this week?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so he basically said along the lines, this team really needs a 15-year veteran to kind of I'm kind of paraphrasing here, to kind of galvanize the team for the regular season, kind of keep them together. And I'm just looking like, you do have Al Horford on the roster, right? He's like a 14-year veteran, and then you had LeBron in Cleveland. So what is it that Kyrie Irving is? What is this regular season going to look like for Kyrie Irving? I guess
Gordon Hayward is like a 7 or 8 year veteran too.
Yeah, I mean, like there's some veterans on this roster. So my question to you guys and to you, Logan, are there no more excuses that we can make for Kyrie Irving?
I don't think so. I mean, to me, when you're playing with guys like LeBron James, and you can say what you want about guys like J.R. Smith, but they've been in the league a long time. Now, J.R. calls timeout when they don't have any, and all this kind of stuff, but and he's an inconsistent shooter. I think he's drunk or high half the time, but
had that Hennessy.
I mean, the guy's been in the league a long time, so he's been around guys that are veterans. I mean, what more does the guy want, in my opinion?
Yeah, no, I think the excuses are now diminishing for Kyrie, a guy that's been in the league for a while now. He's been to a finals, he's won a finals, he's seen how to win a championship, and then you leave the place where you win the championship with a veteran guy like LeBron James. You want to go and be the guy in the Celtics, and now you're calling that you need a 14, 15-year veteran to help this team out. You're supposed to be the guy. Kyrie has to be the guy now. You went to leave to be the man, and to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yep.
Right?
Ric Flair, baby.
So I don't know. I guess what I'm just trying to say is I think Kyrie is looking around and saying, man, did I really want this? Is this really what I wanted when I came here to Boston? Was the pressure of trying to put this team on my back?
I think what Logan said at the beginning is right, and kind of what I touched on is just I think that everybody's freaking out for the Celtics. Like they're like, why are we not undefeated right now? Why are we not doing a lot better than we can? And we've seen it every time. Players
They need time.
That's what I'm saying. They just need time. Anytime players, this is a little bit different, but anytime players go from, you have one star player go to another team, or anytime LeBron's move teams and, they rebuild kind of, it takes time, even when you have these great players, to mesh and just to really hit their stride or hit their peak performance and stuff. I just think the Celtics just haven't gotten there yet, and their young players, even how talented they are, just need to learn how to, or figure out how to play with these all-stars and figure out just, there's only one ball. So they got to figure out how to spread it a little bit more and just differently than what they were in the past. They just it's a lot different play than they're having to play now than they were last year.
And guys, I'm not really a Celtics fan. My brother is, but the Celtics kind of ripped my heart out when they traded IT. Just because as a 5'5", pickup player myself, I imagine myself in IT. He's
relatable guy.
Mighty.
Hashtag relatable.
Black, I'm white. We're not that similar. So,
yes, I agree.
But I think the Celtics are going to be in the right spot here in like 2 or 3 years. Like you said, you can't, with a coach like that that's going to put you in the right spot pretty much every time you need to be. I think they'll be okay.
I agree. Well, thanks for the call, Logan.
Appreciate it, guys.
We'll see you next week, Logan.
Yeah, man. We'll see you next week.
All right, man. I'll set my timer.
All right, sounds good.
Love it. Logan again on Under Review. Remember, if you want to call in, 205-317-4906, get in on the action. We want to hear what you have to say.
I think Logan is overtaking Gus Golden for number one
I
fan.
know. Where's Gus been? Is he still out there?
Gotta get the Gus bus on.
I didn't see him last week on our comments. He didn't call. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed. Gus, where are you?
Well, as I say, he made this promise of calling in every week, and he just hadn't hadn't lived up to it.
Gus is letting us down. All right, where are we moving to next on our
Okay, well, we'll
loaded Tuesday?
I was going to say, we'll move right along. I want to touch on this just for a second because I think this is crazy. So we've all seen it. We talked about it last week. We have the Zion Williamson and Duke hype. They played again. He scored 28 points in the next game. He played great.
Played Army on Sunday, right? Was that who they played?
I don't know what their schedule
is. They played Army on Sunday.
Struggled
for the
at
veterans.
first. And
you're talking about. I thought for some reason
I
you said they're going to play Army on Sunday.
No.
Yes, they did
Duke,
play Army this
right.
past Sunday. You're correct. And they struggled a little bit, but I mean, I think they're just way too talented. But my thing is, so Zion is listed at 6'7", 285, right?
Crazy.
And so that's his listing. So if his listing is correct and all the NBA players' listings are correct, then the only player that's heavier than him is Boban for the Clippers.
Marjanovic.
As I say, however you say his last name, Tyler apparently is a pronunciation expert over there. Boban. But okay, somebody to me is lying about their weight here.
Okay,
because you're gonna tell me
tank, dude.
Oh, he is. I'm not saying he's not, but you're gonna tell me
Boban.
No, Zion. So Zion's
he's
at 285.
Heavier than Gronk too.
But that's okay. That's what I'm saying. Somebody's lying about their weight here, because he might be heavier than Gronk, but there ain't no way you're gonna tell me DeMarcus Cousins isn't heavier than him.
This man eats whey protein
Jordan,
every meal.
Jordan, Andre Drummond,
you look
Dwight
at
Howard.
Zion. You look at
Zion.
Zion.
He's heavier than
The height isn't.
Somebody is lying about their weight here.
I mean, you look at LeBron James, and you wouldn't think that he weighed. What does he weigh? 265.
270. Well, okay.
270?
So the thing is, too, there's also been multiple reports, and all LeBron's close people will tell him nobody actually knows his real weight. He keeps it a secret. He has a listing, but you tell them your listing in the NBA. They don't weigh you.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think that maybe it is a little skewed, but I'm just saying that you look at Zion, and it's not his height that gets you with how big he is. It's his girth. I mean, I mean, this dude is
he's muscular, and I'm not saying he's not big. He could be 285, but if he's 285, then the other players are heavier than they're saying. So somebody's weight is off here because there's no way he outweighs DeMarcus Cousins.
Maybe there's some big
How much you weigh, Steven?
Huh? 185, and I'm 5'11".
He's 100 pounds more heavier.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
But he's got. I mean, he's almost a foot taller than me too.
But guys, look at it. Do y'all not think that a lot of big men maybe lie about their weight because they don't want guys to think that they're slow because they might weigh 295?
This is what I'm saying. There's no way. Like DeMarcus Cousins right now is listed at 280. If Zion is 285, there's no chance.
Now, I will say this: DeMarcus Cousins is not like a wide guy. He's very tall, and he has
slimmed up, but
since his injury.
Thick.
Here's the real question.
He was
thick guy.
He slimmed up since his injury. That's all I got to say.
You talking about his injury last year?
Yeah, he slimmed up.
His weight is still the same from
What
last
I
year.
wanna know-
Like, they haven't changed.
He's definitely lost some weight.
But I'm just saying, like, they haven't changed on the his
How
listing.
much
So
does Big Baby Davis weigh? Glenn Davis.
he's got to weigh more than 2. He's not playing right now,
No,
so
he's
I'm
not
going off
playing
of
anymore.
current NBA players. But
Have you seen him lately?
No, he's heavier.
Man,
though.
he's a chunk, man.
He's a chunk.
He's probably gained like 20 pounds.
But see,
Look this up. I actually want to know how big does Big Baby Davis weigh.
But you're gonna tell me that even Andre Drummond, who's just pure muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. He's pure muscle. He's not a skinny guy.
No,
he's 7 feet tall, and he doesn't weigh more than Zion Williamson. So he's 4 inches taller.
I think
muscle.
Steven's diving
we
really
got
hard.
him. Glenn Davis, 289. 6'9", 289.
Was that his last time he played in the NBA? Was that how much he weighed?
Yes.
Okay, so let's give a better
2012.
comparison. A better comparison is Draymond Green. He's not as muscular as Zion, but he's pretty thick. Like you would say, Draymond Green is a pretty thick guy.
Yeah.
You know what he's listed at?
270.
230.
That's
So
definitely
something's off
skewed.
here.
See, that's definitely skewed.
See what I'm saying?
Who'd you say?
He weighs at
Draymond
least.
Green. So he's 6'7". So he's the same
Draymond
height.
weighs at least as much as LeBron
He's the same
does.
height.
At least as much as LeBron.
Draymond is listed at 230.
He has to weigh at least as much as LeBron does.
this
Either
is
that or
why-
LeBron James gives himself more than how much he weighs.
LeBron's pretty skinny. He's very muscular, but if you ever see him, without a jersey
He's slender.
on, I was gonna say he's very slender, but he's still at least, I'd say he's at least 265, 270. Even when he's slimmed up.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's his slim weight. Like LeBron has gone out and said that 265 is like his really slim weight.
I think he was heavier when he was in Miami.
Right.
I think that was when he was his heaviest. Maybe that was more 265. I think if he was realistic, I think he'd be more like 250, 255. I think it's in that range. He looks skinnier and more slender than he has in his entire career.
I agree. I agree with that. He's very slender. But you got to think. There's a couple things you got to think about. He's 6'8".
Yeah.
He is not a thin guy. Like he is complete muscle and filled out. So it's not like he's 18, 6'8", and he's just skinny.
Steven, take the guy on a date first before you just check him out like this. My goodness.
I'm just saying. So I just like the only reason I'm going off on this is because ESPN and like all their basically affiliates has just been going off about how big Zion is. They do all these graphics about it, and they say
he is a big boy.
He's huge.
Give us a credit.
But
Dude is big.
He is, but we got to be realistic here. He's not the second biggest player. If he was playing the NBA right now, he wouldn't weigh the second most in the NBA.
Yeah,
I think that's my point.
Let's talk about how he's playing, though. We
talked
about his weight for about 20 minutes.
He's playing great. He's super fast. He's super quick. He can get where he wants to. He's shown that he can have a jump shot when he needs to. He doesn't even need it most of the time. So I think he's going to be a great player for a long time.
Will he transcend LeBron James?
No, he can't. I don't think
that was what they were talking about on First Take the other day.
It was kind of like nobody. There's never going to be another Michael Jordan, and there won't. There's never going to be another LeBron James. There's never going to be another Shaq. It's just like you have certain
Zion's
players.
just trying to be the next Zion.
Right. I mean, you can compare LeBron and Michael Jordan all you want, and everybody always does, but they're just two different players. They play completely differently, in my opinion. Yeah. So you compare them
regardless.
all day,
I hope the Hawks get him next year. That's what I'm hoping for.
Tyler is a resident Hawks worker now.
Yes.
So he's trying to see up close Zion, I think.
Right. Or Scout.
He's trying to really.
Well,
he's really just trying to
definitely going to. They're definitely going to be probably the number one overall pick.
He's definitely
that team
him
is
and
awful.
RJ Barrett.
Really, what Tyler's trying to do is he's trying to do a favor for the show and just get Zion to step on a weight scale here and just see the real truth going on.
Now this is interesting. The Hawks do have multiple first round picks this year. Do they not? Do they not have like 2 or 3?
They only have 2.
Just two this year.
Just
okay. But it depends on if another team, how bad they are that they might get a third one. Am I right on that? Am I right on that, Steven?
I don't keep up with the Hawks.
I don't know what that just was, but
I don't keep up. I do not.
2 first round, 2 second round picks for the year.
You could ask me any team in the NBA, and they trade so much that until the draft gets near, I have no idea what players because they trade them so much.
Okay, so
they have this protected. If it's protected in the first 15 rounds, and then if it goes, 15 rounds, first 15 picks, and then. There's so many different rules and trades that I have no idea.
There's a lot into it. The Hawks are definitely going to get the number 1 pick because they are buns this year. Trae Young.
They are buns.
Yeah. Trae Young has definitely been carrying them, and obviously Torian Prince, Trae Young.
I guess you could say carrying them. If they're losing, is that really carrying, or you just kind of just?
He's carrying them to a loss, but
he's carrying them to losses.
Did y'all watch the game the other night versus the Lakers?
I saw part of it. Yeah,
Trae Young pulled it off.
Yeah, that was. I think that was more of LeBron's Tyson Chandler, and then LeBron just. Sucking at the
free throws. He's got to figure that out, too.
Yeah, he even came out and said, I think it was today or yesterday, he said, they asked him about it, and he said, I'm just trash at the free throw line right now. I'm garbage.
I don't know what's going on right now. He cannot hit a free throw.
So let's move on from basketball a little bit. We got a ton of football still to talk about, and we've talked about basketball for like half the show now. So first thing I want to touch on real quick, that Zion thing was supposed to be quick, but of course I always make it longer than it needs to be. That's what she said. So Le'Veon Bell has officially not reported he's not going to, or today was the last day, and he did not report for the season. So he basically forfeited
an idiot.
$14.5 million. And
to prove what?
His goal, Adam Schefter reports, his goal is to stay healthy and get a mega deal this offseason. But my thing is, why would you not just take that $14.5 million, play this year, show that you're great and capable back, and tell the Steelers, because you're on a franchise tag, so they don't own you for another season or anything like that. Just tell the Steelers, I'm not taking anything other than a 4 or 5 year deal. Like what did Todd Gurley sign? A 5 year deal? I'm not taking anything less than a 5 year deal that is Todd Gurley's type contract. Because I think Le'Veon Bell can realistically get that contract, but I think that's what you tell teams, and so you get that money somewhere else next year. It was just stupid to waste $14.5 million. You didn't prove anything to anybody. You showed teams that you're not loyal when they want you to be, even if they say, we're giving you $14.5 million. Like, you're earning $14.5 million a year, which most players in the NFL do not do. Like, just take the money, show you're capable, get the contract next year. Instead, you waste an entire season. I get you don't want to get hurt. You're looking out for injuries. You've had injuries in the past. I get all that. but you're still losing out on $14.5 million. And if you get injured next season, it's not going to help you any either, or in the off-season training.
Yeah.
Well, I and this is my point. I think that Le'Veon Bell is one of those backs that are he's a very skilled back. He can be the best receiver on your team. He can be the best running back. He's proven that with Big Ben and the Steelers. But the thing that's hurting Le'Veon Bell right now is James Conner is just killing it right now. I mean, he's proving that Le'Veon Bell is very replaceable.
So let me ask you this real quick. Is that because James Conner is just that good, or because the Steelers' offense is just fit for a running back?
I mean, I think you can plug. I think you can plug anybody in that offense right now, and they'd be good because you have so many guys around them. You could plug. I mean, look at Juju Smith-Schuster. Quiet 1 week, and then the next week catches a 75-yard touchdown pass.
Right.
I mean, so Big Ben and this Steelers team is getting hot at the right time, getting hot at the end of the season. Antonio Brown is still as good as he can be, even when he's having some spotty, weeks here and there because he's getting double teamed, all that good stuff. And Big Ben's going to have his bad weeks too. But the defense for the Steelers has been playing really well. That pass rush with Bud Dupree has been phenomenal for the Steelers so far. So I think Le'Veon Bell is kind of in that state of, well, I mean, I want to chase more money, but I'd like to get the money this year. I think he was kind of stuck in a situation where he had to go ahead and go through with it and sit out the rest of the year because otherwise teams are going to call his bluff because he was holding out for that long. And if you came out this week and said, no, I'll play. And
get six. I mean, you're still so you'd already wasted $8 million before today. Like if he wouldn't have got $14.5 million today. He would have got $6 million for the rest of the season if he if he reported today. But at the same time, I mean, is it worth that? I mean, is your pride that much that you're wasting $6 million?
Because it's the thing. He's not going to get a big deal.
I think he'll get a big deal, but he will not get. I think it's going to be very, very, very difficult.
Be what he wants,
it's not going to be the Todd Gurley money.
It's not going to be what he wants.
I think if he would have just played this year, he could have got Todd Gurley money.
Yeah, I think the Steelers have proven that the value of a running back is everybody's replaceable in the NFL. In our day-to-day job, everybody's replaceable.
I completely agree, and I mean that's kind of what I was kind of hitting at with the James Conner thing. Is just I agree with Cole. Is you can almost plug a lot of different running backs in that system just because they have a good offensive line, they have a good quarterback, they have good receivers, so they have an offense that works where everybody's not going to just zone in on the run game. And I think if you just have a skilled enough back in the NFL that's able to run routes for you and is hesitant in that is one of those hesitant runners, kind of like Le'Veon Bell is. Mm-hmm. If you have one of those runners, I think they're going to be very productive in that type of offense, and I think they've shown that with James Conner.
What scares guys like Le'Veon Bell is the fact the only position, I mean, let's go ahead and put it out there. The only position that's worth paying the money for and shelling it out for is a quarterback because that's the most valuable position in the NFL. That's the only position you can't plug and play. You have to have the right guy, the right talent, and the right skill, and he has to have the experience. Any other guy, look at that. Look next year. Damian Harris comes out. Great running back. Can catch out of the backfield. Can run the football well. That's a guy that can go and play for the Steelers right now and be fine with Antonio Brown and Big Ben and all them. He'd be fine with them. What I'm trying to say is, though, and then you look at guys like, there's receivers every year that are coming out. Jerry Jeudy's coming out this year. I mean, I know I'm naming Alabama guys. But I'm just saying, there's going to be a lot of guys that come out this year. They're going to be really skilled skill players. But the one position that's not irreplaceable is quarterback. So Le'Veon Bell is never going to get the money that he wants, even though he thinks he deserves it.
Yeah,
rightfully so. I mean, I'm never going to fault a guy for chasing after money. If you want to chase after more money, all the power to you. But when you don't have any leverage like Le'Veon Bell doesn't at this point, what are you going to a team and saying? Well, I'm a great running back, and great receiver. Oh, okay, well, there's about 15 of those guys right now.
Right.
James White is a great runner and a great receiver out of the backfield. I mean, there's tons of guys out there. So what are you bringing to the table that's different?
Right. I think there's obviously skilled players that have proven themselves before where you're not just trying to kind of roll the dice, because you do that in the NFL a lot. You roll the dice with certain players and they don't always work out. So you're not always – there is a lot of guys waiting in the wing, like you said, and a quarterback is the most irreplaceable position. I completely agree with that. But at the same time, there's also not proven guys in the NFL just everywhere. There's not guys who...
Is this sea animals that we have behind Steven now? Wow. I mean, this is...
Dolphins. You're getting a whole experience
I think
behind
this
me.
should be a new game we play on the show. Is we
what's
should
going
just
on behind
see.
Steven?
Y'all should like.
Steven should not know what's
I was gonna
behind
say y'all
him.
should just kind of say.
Another
like,
reason why
we're-
we should get a green screen.
Yeah, we're just gonna put random stuff behind
hold on.
Steven just to
Let me
see
move this a little bit just so you can
what's
see a little
behind
better.
him. Just all the wow, that's just amazing. Oh gosh, love it.
Dolphins going
yeah,
on
so
right now.
so
I
Le'Veon
love
Bell,
this
I think. Look at the Penguins. That's just great.
I mean,
This is under review at its peakest right here.
peakest.
Peakest at its peak. I'm sorry. at its
peakest.
highest peak is what I
At
meant to
its
say.
peakest.
At its peakest.
Tell
Okay,
you who's
complete-
peaking, boys.
Let me tell
The
you.
UAB Blazers.
There we go. What a
Hey.
transition, Tyler. I love it. Tyler, the producer, with the transition. So, this past weekend, UAB wins their division in Conference USA. They win the Western Division. They beat Southern Miss in an overtime thriller. Tyler, the producer, was at that game, freezing his butt cheeks off
Never been colder in my life.
in the high end zone, filming that game for down in front here. So, but it was a great game. It was exciting. You know, I couldn't even watch the game because I didn't have. Was it even
Wow,
on?
real fan.
Was it even on ESPN Plus?
No, it wasn't.
Well, it wasn't,
You had
so-
to attend the game.
Yeah,
it was on
see?
beIN Sports, though.
Yeah, but I was working,
Who
so
watches beIN Sports?
nobody. But anyways, that's not the point. I mean, I'm just like updating my ESPN app, watching the plays go through, and
Yeah.
my heart's in my toes watching that game.
Let me tell you guys,
watching
like
updates.
UAB struggled, like they really did. Like
Well,
Tyler
I was
Johnson
gonna say,
struggled to move the ball down the field.
I was gonna say the starting quarterback isn't healthy right now.
Yeah,
And,
but I feel like before this week, I would have said that AJ or Tyler Johnson
yeah.
gives them a better chance because he can sling it around. Now
Well, I
I'm
think-
not so sure.
I was gonna say I think that kind of showed this past week. You know, he throws 3 interceptions and 1 touchdown. I think it kind of shows why they had AJ early starting. Maybe Bill Clark's kind of going with that more of like Tyler Johnson can is a gunslinger kind of guy.
Right.
Oh, we have a visitor, and then maybe he's just kind of showing that AJ Early is the more game manager. Oh, hey, Furco.
Fergo in the house. I'm watching that game for UAB. Exciting ending in overtime. Absolutely loved the way they won the game. Was it Spencer Brown?
Spencer Brown.
Spencer Brown, they got the game winning.
That 14th touchdown actually puts him at 5th nationally in touchdowns this season, and actually breaks the school record for touchdowns.
Breaking records. This UAB team is putting up spectacular numbers
I
and records
completely agree.
defensively,
They are
offensively.
It is crazy. They are 9-1, and it's their second season back from not having a football program. Go ahead, Tyler.
No, even if they lose to Texas A&M, I still believe Bill Clark. Well, it also depends if they win Conference USA. But if they win
Bill
Conference
Clark-
USA, he needs to be
I think
coach of the year.
even regardless, I think if they can lose the rest of their games this season, I think Bill Clark
Him or Mike Leach
should be
It'll-
very
it'll
like,
probably be-
See, that's
should
a
be coach of
guy
the
I
year.
think that's going to that was a guy we didn't bring up last week. I don't think
Yeah.
did we bring him up
No,
when we
we
talked about
didn't
coach
bring
here?
him up.
I don't think we did. I think Mike Leach is a guy that you got to watch out for if you're looking at the coach of the year candidates. I think that him and Bill Clark
I
are
just
both
think
there.
I'm not saying that what Mike Leach has had good seasons before though. And but I just think it's a different situation.
Nothing
for
like
one.
this year,
Yeah,
though.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Nothing like this year.
Nothing like this year.
But Bill Clark's the same way.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just a completely different situation because at Washington State you didn't lose your football program and bring it back from
So
starting
you're
over.
factoring in.
I was gonna say I'm factoring in all
history and
that,
whatnot,
and then
yeah.
bringing them 2 winning seasons. You're breaking like your first year back, you break the wins record for UAB.
Yeah.
Second year back, you break that record again, and then you've only had 1 loss in the season.
And you won the
And you won your division.
and possibly going to try and win the conference.
As I say, in your favorites right now to win the conference.
No, I think UAB is definitely in the driver's seat to win it. And look, regardless of what happens here at Texas A&M this week, I think UAB again is going to be in the driver's seat to get to a great bowl game. Bill Clark wins Coach of the Year, I think, and I think UAB at the end of the day should be ranked. I
do
still
too.
think.
I agree.
I think this week they should have been ranked going into this
We talked
Texas
about it a little
A&M
bit last
game.
week how Conference USA is a weak conference. But at the same time, I mean, they're 9-1 and they're ranked top 5 nationally in their defense in several different defensive categories. They're leading the nation in sacks right now. They're tied for the lead in sacks. So I mean, you have multiple categories that you're leading in nationally. You're not. 25th.
Playing phenomenal football is UAB. Now, there's a lot of scenarios that could happen for how the conference championship will play out and what will happen as far as that goes. But looking at this Texas A&M game. Are there any spots that we see as a bright spot for UAB heading into this game?
The D line.
I mean, the D line obviously getting to Kellen Mond will be a big factor.
I think you have D line. You have great corners that have shown out. I mean, they like Tyler said, they struggled last week against Southern Miss, but
the line's at 16 right now.
Are we taking the points on this, boys?
16 points, I think, is the spread right now. Is that what it is?
I'm not taking the points.
I would say 24, 30 points is a healthy margin for what I think
I think they'll get beat. 24.
24, 30 points.
Definitely about 21.
This UAB team can keep it respective. I think.
I think they will go out. They're not going to go out easily. I don't think it's going to be just a pushover win. I mean, they're 9-1 and they have a great defense. I don't think their offense can keep up.
Let's not act like this A&M team is a world beater. This is not a great A&M team.
But they do have the best running back in the SEC, arguably.
Are we getting another call?
We have another call.
We do have another caller.
You're on under review. Go ahead. What's up, man? Or gal? What's up?
Yeah, hello.
False alarm, boys.
But if you look at the game as a whole, I think that it will be close in the first half. I think that UAB will stay in the game. I think that they'll make it tough on Texas A&M. They haven't gotten off to great starts. The Aggies haven't. So I think it'll be close in the first half, maybe about 10 points, 7 points throughout the first quarter, second quarter. But I think by the third and fourth quarter that Texas A&M's talent gap will just start to show. The depth.
I think just the SEC talent gap between SEC, just any SEC team in general in Conference USA is wide there. I mean, we saw it last year kind of. I mean, UAB still had a good season last year. And, I mean, they went into Florida with a bad Florida team, and you were thinking, maybe we have, a chance to make it close or get a crazy upset, you're hoping. And Florida just demolishes UAB in every category. So I just think, like Cole said, just the talent gap is just a little bit too wide. Yeah. But I definitely think UAB could keep it close throughout the game and at least give Texas A&M some trouble. But I'm excited to watch it.
I think seeing
that
UAB
might be the best game this weekend.
You have a lot of cupcake games in the SEC, but that is certainly not one that you can take lightly. Alabama and Auburn and all them have very easy cupcake games. I think the Liberties and the Citadels.
It's the week before the rivalry week.
But UAB is not a pushover cupcake team for A&M. If you take them lightly, like a Liberty or a Citadel, you could get beat if you're Texas A&M. So you have to show up and play. That's what I'm saying. But
they have the interesting thing about this too is Jimbo Fisher is the coach for Texas A&M, as we all know. Jimbo Fisher almost got the job for UAB back in 2005 or 6, I believe. So it's kind of there's a kind of a connection there. So
if you will,
to Jimbo and
the FBI is giving UAB an 11% chance to win this game. So you're saying there's a chance.
Exactly. As long as there's above a 1 right there, then
as long as there's not a 90% chance that A&M wins the game.
There's an 11%.
There's an 11%
if this was
chance.
If this is at Legion Field, it'd be a different game.
Yeah, play us. They should be like Central Florida. Hey, schedule a home and home with us.
Right.
Yeah. Bet you we can beat you.
All right. Well, moving on. From UAB a little bit. We're going to get into this past weekend's game. We didn't have any crazy upsets this past weekend. Like I said, no crazy upsets. There was kind of a few here and there, but nothing to really write home about. Clemson and Georgia really handled business. Clemson, they were the game of the week for ESPN and everything, and they just blew Boston College out like everybody probably thought. Georgia, big rivalry game with Auburn. Auburn didn't really. I mean, the first quarter it was close, and then other than that, Georgia just kind of pulled away.
Yeah.
I think this Auburn team feels. We talked about them all year. I think the main difference between this Auburn team and other Auburn teams that you see lose a game that they shouldn't lose or win big games, this Auburn team feels different in the fact that the talent doesn't seem to be there this year. Normally, it feels like Auburn has the talent to match up with these teams, and they have a coaching mistake or they just don't call the right offensive plays. Or something like that you can point to. This year it just feels realistically like they just don't have the talent to match up.
I respectfully disagree with you. I think that they do have the talent. I think it has everything to do with coaching.
I'm not saying the coaching has been good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they have
this
had
is
any
one of the most
coaching.
talented Auburn defenses they've been in a while.
Let me rephrase that. I will say the defense is as talented
Derek
as anyone
Brown,
else, but their offense. Not besides Jarrett Stidham, I mean they don't have a good running back. They're going to lose. I think they've been on so many years streak with
let's
over
not say they don't have a
rusher.
good one. Jatavius Whitlow is not a bad running back. He could start on a lot of SEC rosters in this conference if he was in any other place. I think there's some good talent on this offense. There's not utilized correctly.
Yeah.
This has everything to do with the fact that Gus Malzahn refuses to give play calls that run the route trees the correct way, that put your players in position to be successful.
I'm not saying that the coaching has been great. I'm just saying that based on the past, they have been, just with the same. You had Gus Malzahn for, how many years now he's been coach? You never seen them.
Was it 5 years? Has it been 5 seasons he's been the head coach?
Since 2013,
2012? So 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, you had the offensive line. He cannot block anybody.
That's really what
that's
the
what I
problem
was gonna say.
revolves
So maybe
around.
the main problem
point-
is, but Jatavius Whitlow isn't the same running back that they've had in years past.
You're not going to have a Kerryon Johnson or a what was the guy before him?
Trey Mason.
Yeah, Trey Mason.
Player,
you're not going to have a type of player like that. Those guys come around every so often. Unless you're Alabama, you're just a football factory. They're just coming in.
Auburn
It's
usually
not
has
like
good
Auburn
running backs.
doesn't
It's not like
recruit well.
Again, we talked about this last week, Stephen. Know who you are and know your expectations. Auburn's not a football factory like Alabama and Ohio State, where they just produce five-star players out of the backfield every year.
I agree with that. But I'm saying, they've never had a just bad running back either. And I'm not saying Jatavius Whitlow is just bad, but he's not going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. They're breaking a.
And the reason why is because their offensive line.
Okay.
It's not because Jatavius Whitlow is not a good player per se. It's because their offensive line has really struggled to establish the line.
He's also not a Kerryon Johnson, Trey
But
Mason.
Steve, even Kerryon Johnson would be able to carry through that offensive line. That offensive line is bad. It's just bad.
But I'm saying I think Kerryon Johnson would have a 1,000-yard season, even with this offensive line.
Behind that offensive line,
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. This offensive line
is
this
offense is throwing it at a record pace for Auburn.
They have no choice.
Okay,
they have zero choice. They have to.
You don't have pass blocking either. It's not like your pass blocking is any better than your run blocking.
But I'm just saying, you have somewhat of an offensive line that could block well enough to where you can throw the quick slants, you can throw the bubble screens, and they tried this, and on Saturday it worked. They led 7-0 early because they were doing the quick passes, they were getting the ball out quickly, they were getting the ball to Shavers. What is his name? I can't remember. Number 5. He's really quick. I can't remember what his name is.
It's not Shavers.
I can't remember what it is. Shivers.
But I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
World-class speed.
Yeah.
I think the offensive line is obviously not elite whatsoever, and I also think they lack elite receivers. One of their receivers is under 6'1", around 6'1", under maybe. So they're kind of like slot receiver type guys. They don't have a go-to guy like they've had in past years.
And again, who can you chalk this up to, though?
But we can say that they were trying to do this passing game, and that's the only choice, but it hasn't really worked out for them.
No, and again, look, I'm not trying to defend what's going on with Auburn because, to be honest with you, it's a mess because you are what you recruited, you are what you hired. You hired Gus Malzahn, and what he brings to the table, he that's what he recruits. He recruits a bunch of fast players. It's not the big guys. It may not be the most talented guys, but it's guys that he thinks can run his system, and that's what he wants. And to Tyler's point, they look like a bunch of slot receivers. That's because they are.
Yeah, they are.
All the receivers Auburn have are pretty much slot receivers. They're not guys that are going to dominate the outside like a Jerry Jeudy demands the outside coverage. These are guys that are more slot-type receivers. He is correct. But I think that Jarrett Stidham and this offense could be better if you ran play calls that gave your offense more opportunities to be successful.
Right, and I'm not
right now they're not doing that.
Like I said, I just think I'm not defending their coaching at all. I don't think the coaching has been good at all. I just think the coaching has been similar to it has in the past, and it's just the talent is just different this year than it has before. I'm not saying Auburn is terrible. I'm not saying that anything like that. I'm just saying that compared to years past, you could have this coaching that they still have now this year, but you've had more talent where you can survive. And then this year they just don't have that same talent that they've had to survive off of it. So their bad coaching is showing out even more.
Yeah, and I think it just goes back to
their
recruiting.
coaching isn't. Yeah, it does. It does.
It goes
but
back to
they don't
recruiting.
have bad classes though. It's not like they're having bad classes.
But they didn't recruit very well on the offensive line these past 2 years.
Yeah.
They had a group of guys last year, arguably one of their best offensive line, or no, the year before, But they did lose some seniors last year, and I think that definitely plays a factor because this is a really young offensive line.
It does. It definitely does. And I mean, like Cole's point was, they're not a football factory like, you see the Clemson or Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State. They're not going to produce these players year in and year out. But at the same time, they've always had the talent to at least match up similarly. And this year, I just the talent gap to me is bigger than it usually is.
Anthony Schwartz is the guy I was trying to think of. I don't know why. I don't know why I said Shivers. I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking of. But anyway, but you have
I was letting you go with it.
Seth Williams, Eli Stove, Darius Slayton, Anthony Schwartz. These are not.
You have athletes.
These are not trash players. I mean, these are guys who can play.
I'm not trying to say they're trash. I'm not. That's not.
Ryan
not what
Davis is not.
I'm just saying
bad.
they're not living up to what they normally do.
Well, no.
Their talent level is not what it normally is. Let's put it that way. For Auburn.
But I think I think what everybody's forgetting is it's not so much that Auburn is just that bad, which, they have looked bad. But I think everybody else is just that good. Alabama's that good. LSU is that good this year. You have the competition.
Tennessee's came a long way from where they were at the beginning of the season
to where they are now. I mean, look at them dominating Kentucky over the weekend. Georgia is a football factory at this point.
Better and better.
I mean, so Auburn is as good, I think, as they can be because everybody else has just gotten that much better.
Yeah.
And if they're not careful, teams like Texas A&M are going to create distance. I mean, of course, Auburn beats them, but Texas A&M's got good recruiting classes coming in. I mean, and Ole Miss is going to stay down for long. Arkansas is not going to stay down for long. Mississippi State, Joe Moorhead's going to start getting his guys in. Auburn has got to try and keep up with these other teams. They can't worry about the Alabamas and LSUs of the world because they're not there right now. They need to worry about getting caught back up to where they can keep keel even. And bringing a guy in like Kelly Bryant, which I don't know if y'all saw, he's going to make his second trip to Auburn, of course. This is the only school he's going to make his second trip to. But a lot of complaints that I'm hearing from Auburn fans is that they're not so much worried about the fact that they're going to have him for 1 year. It's the fact that there is no consistency because he is going to be a one and done pretty much. He's going to come in, play one good season. They might have a great year, 10-2, 11-1, whatever. But then he's gone. And then where are you going to go from here? You have to have some consistency at the quarterback position and at your coaching position, and that's Gus Malzahn developing quarterbacks.
Yeah, and it seems like they, 2 years ago, you could argue, Auburn was arguing they got their guy, John Franklin III, in 2016, that he was going to be the next quarterback, before Stidham came along. And, it goes back to coaching. Is Malzahn an elite quarterback? I mean, has he gotten lucky with Nick Marshall and Cam Newton? Obviously.
Absolutely.
And I think those are generational players, or once in a decade players at least. At
least in college football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
No. I mean, you look at Nick Marshall hit lightning in a bottle with that. That was there was. Who could have predicted that you take a defensive back from Georgia and turn him into a great college football player at the quarterback position like he did at Auburn? And, of course, the Auburn thing with Cam Newton, of course, there's a lot of factors that went into that. We're not going to talk about that. But, I think that the Cam Newton thing was obvious, and he was a once-in-a-generation player. He's shown that in the NFL. So, I mean, you're going to have success with those type of players. But my thing is, how consistent are you from – don't give me your peak years. That's why I love when Steven brings up Matt Ryan as MVP year. Don't bring me up the 1 year you were good. Bring me up 5 to 6 years of evidence of greatness. Show me 5 to 6 years. Don't if you're trying to make a debate about the best band of all time, you're not going to bring up the one hit they had or the one great album. Show me 5 consistent years of great albums, of great songs, of great years of them pushing content. That's how we determine greatness. And Gus Malzahn has consistently shown that he cannot bring a team to greatness every year.
You can win football games without an elite quarterback. Like, multiple teams have shown this. Nick Saban and Alabama have shown it. Jake Coker, you could argue he wasn't elite. Jalen Hurts, not elite. It's how you build a team. It's how you build a team and how you build around the quarterback. Exactly.
The process. I mean, so every year Saban is, like you said, putting guys in position to win championships. Gus Malzahn is not.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about quarterbacks for all day. Let's move on. Let's go on to the rest of the weekend rewind real quick. Like I said, not a lot of big upsets, so not crazy storylines or anything like that. The Big 12, again, showing that they don't play defense whatsoever. Texas wins a close one with Texas Tech, and Oklahoma escapes narrowly against Oklahoma State after the 2-point conversion mishap they had there. Did you watch this game, Cole?
Which one was that?
Oklahoma State, or at least see the 2-point conversion?
I did see. I saw the entire second half at least, and I saw Mike Gundy's decision to go for the win. Obviously, the 2-point conversion.
I don't mind the going for the win. I don't mind the play call. It worked. You had a guy open. That was just the worst possible throw the quarterback could have possibly made.
Yeah, Cornelius did not make the greatest throw on that two-point conversion. It was completely behind him.
If he would have thrown him, for instance, your Saints, if you watch the Michael Thomas touchdown in the first half, I mean, he threw it to obviously you're not going to have a Drew Brees at quarterback in college football, but I'm saying he threw it to a point where that was great defense. Only Michael Thomas could have possibly got that ball, and he caught it. You throw it behind and 2 yards behind him.
You give him no chance of catching the ball.
You didn't give him a chance.
There was no chance of him making
Just at least throw it out in front of him, because in that way, at least he can, get his fingertips on it or something.
I love the play call, though.
It's a great play call. You have, I love the going for two and going for the win automatically.
Is this now 2 weeks in a row we've seen a Big 12 game go like that? We had Texas, West Virginia. Was it the week beforehand or 2 weeks before that, where the West Virginia goes for two and they get it and they win the game?
Yeah.
Was that the week beforehand?
I believe it was the week before.
So then we have Oklahoma. This just proves that the Big 12, if you love offense, make sure you tune in, because they are going to show it.
And I think it's probably going to hurt them going forward with the committee in general, just showing that the Big 12 is just having more than suspect. Hey, whoa, is it suspect or suspect?
Let's not get into that argument. We spent what do we spend like an hour talking about that? Anyway,
if you love
more
offense,
than suspect defenses, because I like I said, I think it's going to hurt them with the playoff committee in general, because if you have a one loss, even if Oklahoma wins the Big 12, if you have one loss Oklahoma, if you have one loss team in another conference, maybe Michigan, maybe if it comes down to Michigan and Oklahoma, I think you give the edge to Michigan, for one, because of strength of schedule, but for another, just because Michigan can actually play defense. So Oklahoma doesn't play defense.
I'm guessing you heard what Barrett Trotter had to say on the Paul Feinbaum show. Did y'all hear any of that interview? So Barrett Trotter
or Barrett Sallee?
No, Barrett Sallee is the guy.
CBS.
Yeah, CBS. No, Barrett Trotter is I think it's Barrett Trotter. He's with the Big 12. He reports on the Big 12.
Okay.
He wrote an article saying that he thinks that Kyler Murray actually deserves the Heisman over Tua, and this was his reasoning, and he makes good points.
I was say I was actually texting my dad today, and I said I believe Kyler Murray will win the Heisman over Tua. I just think Kyler Murray, for one, doesn't have as good of a team as Tua around him.
Yeah,
I think Kyler Murray has better
really
stats.
Look too good this week.
Tua's hurt, and so you have
There's
that.
Two sides to this argument. The first side of the argument is, well, Kyler Murray has to do more because his defense is so bad that he literally has to score every time he touches the ball. The pressure on him to score is at an all-time high. And you're right, not a great team around him as far as the defense goes. On offense, they're loaded.
Right, I'm not saying they're not.
On the flip side of that, Oklahoma has not played an elite defense this year.
Yeah,
they have not played a great defense. So really and truly, Kyler Murray and this offense have not been tested by a defense at all.
Kyler Murray has better stats in general, though. And that goes with the not playing defenses, but, he has a lot more yards and more touchdowns.
Whereas Tua has played some formal defense. Mississippi State, LSU, those are two of the best defenses in the SEC.
He also those were 2 interception games for him.
But he also put up some numbers.
He put up numbers against LSU. He didn't put very much numbers.
You could also argue that Mississippi State has a better defense than LSU. You can actually make that argument. Their defensive front might be with
I don't think
Montrez
that is a
Sweat
total
and
defense,
Jeffrey
though.
Simmons.
Maybe their defensive front.
Their defensive backs.
As I
LSU,
say,
you could argue.
But I'm just saying, I think as a total defense, you have LSU. But I think as a just defensive, maybe just their defensive line, you can give Mississippi State the edge.
Yeah.
But I think as a total defense, you can go LSU. Either way, I can definitely see the merit for picking Kyler Murray over that. I was looking at the Heisman race today, actually. Quentin Williams from Alabama is top 4 right now.
Wow.
He's shown out the last couple of games against Mississippi State and LSU. Nobody can block him. He's playing insane. He's playing out of his mind right now. I don't think he'll be top 4 by the end of the year, but I think it's. You always, when we had Rickey Dixon in here last week, he's talking about, I'm tired of quarterbacks always winning it. And I agree with that point. You always want to see another guy, but you're never going to see another guy because quarterbacks always have the stats, and they're the ones, like we talked about the NFL, they're the most important players. So you're going to see them win it more.
So here is the experts poll from ESPN, the updated
Tua's still
poll.
number 1.
Tua's still number 1 with 48 votes, 8 first ones. That leads everybody as far as that regard. Kyler Murray is number 2 with 2 votes. Everybody else has 0 first place votes, and then you get the idea. After that goes Will Grier, Gardner Minshew, Quentin Williams, like you just stated, and then Dwayne Haskins is still on this list. Surprisingly, as Ohio State's had some struggles and some ups and downs this year as well.
I just think the stats alone, and that was kind of my point with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, if you're just going on stats, and he's had better. But
if
but
you're
like
just
you said,
going on stats, Christian McCaffrey would have beat Derrick Henry a couple of years ago in the Heisman.
but a lot of people thought he should have. Because I mean,
So
just
let's
because of
just look at the stats, Steven. Here's the 2018 seasons next to each other. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdowns, 28 for Tua, 32 for Kyler Murray.
Right.
5
They're not
picks for
insanely
Kyler,
different. Right.
Tua 2. I mean, these are 70% completion percentage for Kyler Murray, 67 for Tua, 95.8 QBR for Tua.
95.3
for Kyler. I mean, these numbers are very similar.
They are very similar. And so you
Very
give
similar.
the edge to who you think is a better player in general. And obviously ESPN is voting. I'm just saying I see the merit in Kyler Murray being
Now, the
up
only
there.
thing that I will give Kyle the edge on is the rushing stats. He has 640 yards rushing, so he almost has he could likely have, you know,
He's shattering Baker Mayfield's
Yeah, I mean,
records here, who won the Heisman last year. So I mean, you gotta look at like Baker Mayfield, who won the Heisman last year.
But the Big 12 doesn't have anybody
They
in
don't have
total
defense.
ranked higher than Iowa State is ranked 32, and then West Virginia 37. So I mean,
Jake Trotter. I'm so sorry, not Barrett Trotter. Jake Trotter.
Yeah. Barrett Trotter was a backup quarterback for years for Auburn.
He also started one year.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I think you're right. Kyler Murray, and of course they play Kansas next game, so he'll clean up. He'll put some stats. Of course, I think Tua will play. Good segue. Can we segue into this since we're talking about Tua? Can we
Let's
go
do
ahead?
it.
Can we
I don't know
segue?
what you're segueing into, but go ahead.
I really want to ask this to you guys and to our viewers. The
Yes,
poll question.
Yes, go ahead. I know what you're talking about now.
Should Tua start Saturday against the Citadel? That's been the question that's been thrown around because of the injury to his knee, because Jalen Hurts is still recovering and whatnot. They don't know what the status of he will be on Saturday. And it's the Citadel. Do you go ahead and start Tua Saturday?
I would start
play
him.
him the first
I would say
quarter.
just do what you've done all year,
I
pretty
mean-
much. Play him the first half, and then you're gonna blow out the Citadel. Know what I mean? It's not gonna be close. So you might as well just play him the first half. Get reps in, get him some practice, get him warm. So he's not going a week off before he plays Auburn. So he has that at least weekly thing going. And then if you're ever scared, you can always take him out. You're not going to lose anything.
If he starts getting hit.
Until
which
it's
he
too late.
shouldn't take.
He shouldn't take hits against the Citadel. He should, obviously Nick Saban's never going to be a guy that wants to get just a player's stats. But, I mean, you give him a chance to get more stats, everything like that to, boost his Heisman stuff. Again, Nick Saban's never going to think that way. But just a thought, and then just take him out after halftime when you're up by 40. And then you don't even have to worry about him getting hit. And, like, if you ever get nervous, or if you're ever like, look, we're not playing great as an offensive line, he's taking too many hits, take him out. Put Mac Jones in, just hand the ball off. I mean, I think Alabama can win this game by throwing 0 passes the whole game, just handing the ball off. You're going to win the game. So
You want to keep your offense crisp. So I think,
That's what I'm
like you
saying,
said,
yeah.
Tua
Get reps in.
probably will play more than likely.
You hear it from football players all the time. Live plays, against real teams is a lot different than practice. It's just a lot different. So you're getting those live reps in instead of just practice reps in. And I think that makes a difference.
I don't think Tua is as banged up as many people think. Obviously, like Nick Saban said, he could have played last week, and Josh Jacobs actually came out and said, most of the time when Tua is down is when he's adjusting his knee brace. A lot of the time when quarterbacks slide, the knee brace can mess them up when they slide. So I mean,
it's probably just uncomfortable more than anything else.
Right.
Like I don't think anybody
It's
thinks
just
he's
not
not
natural.
really hurt. It's just I don't think he's comfortable, and he's getting hit a lot more in these past couple weeks than he was before. So that's probably a factor in there too. So let's move right along into out of college football and into some NFL recapping from the week. You see a couple of teams in the NFC South crumble after they had some good winning streaks. The Panthers got killed by the Steelers, which wasn't all unexpected. You thought it was going to be a closer game, but the Steelers are, we talked about earlier, just on a hot streak. They're getting hot at the right time. Their defense is playing great. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders. Then you have the Falcons. My Falcons getting absolutely destroyed by the Browns, which is pitiful. The Browns aren't as bad as they usually are, but it's just bad when you see your team lose 28-10 to the Browns, or 28-14, excuse me. As Tyler's
music over here and
playing some music, and then as opposed to those two NFC South teams just crumbling, you have the Saints, who absolutely go in and destroy the Bengals with, I mean, completely just telling me and Ricky to screw off a little bit there as we say the Cincinnati Bengals can beat anybody. You just
on any
week to
given
week,
Sunday.
On any given Sunday, and then they just get destroyed 51-14.
Yeah.
So Saints are talk about a hot team at the right time. Saints are in fuego, and they only look to be getting better each week.
Yeah, no, this is the most dynamic offense in the entire NFL because they basically choose whatever they want to do to an opposing defense. They can run the football efficiently with Kamara and now Ingram looking great. He's came back strong, like you just said.
Their defense has definitely been it's been iffy sometimes. They're last in the NFL. As I say, they're last in the NFL in red zone defense. So if a team gets in the red zone, you're probably going to score.
Mostly that stat is because of the way they started at the beginning of the year.
Right.
They've gotten better the last few weeks. That beginning was rough on the defense.
The Saints defense hasn't been as bad as it has at the beginning, and they are improving. But their pass defense is, I think, I know it's bottom 3 or bottom 4 in the NFL. And some of this is, like you said, Cole,
it's
based
because
off
of the
first
beginning of the year.
week. But at the same time, they're not a top 5 defense, but they play just enough, and their offense is just good enough to outscore anybody. So as long as they keep them scoring once or twice, their offense is going to score. So, but I think the Saints are playing great right now. And then to the AFC, you have the Titans upsetting the Patriots big time, which is very surprising to me because the Titans just, were very mediocre team, a very mediocre team. And the Patriots have been on a kind of come up ever since those first couple weeks when everybody was questioning them. What's going to happen? What is up with the Patriots? And then all of a sudden the Patriots go on this huge win streak, and then the Titans just cream them. The Titans defense just outplayed the Patriots and all. And Tom Brady comes out and says, it was just an off day for everybody. But Titans just look better, and that Sunday.
I think every team goes through a lull like this at some point in the season, and the Saints might do that at some point in the next few weeks as well. They might go through a lull as well. I think that this game was very predictable that the Patriots probably lost. I didn't think it would be 34-10, but I thought that it probably would be kind of predictable that they go up there and kind of lay an egg because this is just what the Patriots do. They're boring throughout the regular season, and then in the playoffs they turn on a switch. I don't know what it is. I don't know what goes on in that locker room or what happens in that organization, but for some reason the Patriots are a very vanilla, a very boring team throughout the regular season. Don't make them a lot of noise. They have funky scores, and they don't really blow teams out that much. They have tough games, and then in the playoffs they just light the league on fire. So, I don't know how much to read into this because I think at the end of the day that the Patriots will be right there.
As I say, I'm not reading anything into it because the last time I read something into it, the Patriots went on a huge win streak again because I read something into it. So. Well, I'm saying earlier this season, I read something into it. I'm like, these Patriots, these struggles don't look like they're going to fix themselves anytime soon, and they go on a huge win streak like nothing ever was wrong. So I'm not going to read anything into it. I just think the Titans are maybe getting better. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm reading more into it from a Titans standpoint than a Patriots standpoint. So I'm not reading into it as Patriots at all, really. It's a bad week for them. For the Titans, I'm reading into it. I'm reading like we're trending upward here. I have a good chance, you're in the AFC South, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
As I say, with your record right now, you have a good chance of making the playoffs. So they're very much in the hunt for that, and they're improving.
There's certainly some teams that are trending in the right direction, some that are not, and then there are some that are just kind of just like, when can we get to the postseason? Because the Patriots are basically they're so far ahead of everybody in their division, Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. They're so much better than them. They're going to win the division. And these other games, if they win it, it's great. If they don't, it's like, they're still going to be in the playoffs. And we know what they do in the playoffs. It's hard to stay motivated. As I say, if you're a Patriots player, it's hard to stay motivated when you already, are pretty sure you're going to, lead your division. Run away with your division. It's
hard to stay motivated. So, moving on to another game, Cowboys and Eagles. This is a Monday night game. Or no, it wasn't. It was the Sunday night game. Cowboys edge out the Eagles in a rivalry game. And my question here is what's going on with the Eagles this season? They're the favorite coming into the season to go back to the Super Bowl. They have all the talent they can possibly have on both sides of the ball. So they don't have their running backs right now. They don't have a good running situation going on. But other than that, what's going on here? Is it just a Super Bowl, lull?
No, Super Bowl hangover. I think is an overrated statement. I think that's the most overused thing is that a championship hangover even exists. I don't think that's the problem with the Eagles. I think the problem with them is there has been a a lack of consistency amongst the offense, and it's really funny when Carson Wentz comes in. Everybody thinks he's just going to light the world on fire, and the thing is, the dude missed pretty much the whole season last year, and it really hasn't regathered what he had going last season. And this offense has been really stagnant. It has not been able to move the football consistently. Hasn't been able to put points on the board. Has been really bad in the red zone. The defense has not been where everybody thought they were as they invested in some. Fletcher Cox and some of these other guys on this defense have been really not been playing up to their par. So I don't know. This is a really tricky team to figure out, because I feel like any given Sunday they can beat somebody, but it just feels like consistently they're the worst team each week. They're just not performing the way that I would think that this Eagles team would.
Just the talent level they have, and their favorites coming in, and they're just not playing up to it. Basically.
No, they're not.
I mean, isn't it hard to believe that the Redskins are leading the division?
That's what I'm saying.
In the NFC East. I mean,
it's not that crazy, because they legitimately are the best team in that division. They have the better defense.
I think he was saying from the beginning of the season, you would have picked the Eagles to win the division,
or the Cowboys,
or even the Giants were projected going into the year to have a good year.
That's who I had picked to win the division. I had the Redskins win the division. I thought I thought the Kirk Cousins move was fantastic, getting him out of there and then putting Alex Smith in. I know Steve didn't like Alex Smith, but I
like Alex Smith.
I like Alex Smith. I think he can do just enough to win you a game and not make sure he doesn't give you a loss, as in he's not going to turn the ball over for you.
I think Kirk Cousins right now is a better quarterback right now than Alex Smith.
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't understand that necessarily move for the Redskins. Why do you trade a better quarterback for a worse one?
Because they didn't want to pay him.
Because they didn't want to pay. I get that.
But Steve, you also can't forget the Vikings have much more talent on that offense than the Redskins do.
Yeah. They do.
Imagine if Alex Smith had Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen to throw the ball to, Kyle Rudolph a tight end.
Kirk Cousins had better stats at Redskins than Alex Smith does. So we can go back to what did Kirk Cousins do with the Redskins versus Alex Smith now.
Kirk Cousins played multiple seasons with the Redskins.
I'm just saying
Alex Smith has had one season.
But I'm saying you can talk about last season. You can just talk about one season.
Okay, so
and you can still say Kirk Cousins had better stats.
Well, we'll see. Again, I'm a big advocate of numbers. Don't always win the championships. Don't always win the games. Don't always win the divisions.
Numbers aren't ever going to be everything. They're not. I agree with that, but I'm just saying.
Kirk Cousins puts up a lot of great numbers.
I'm saying Kirk Cousins right now is a better quarterback than Alex Smith.
If you just looked at the stats, you would assume that Kirk Cousins is the league MVP, that he's winning his division, that he's just doing all these great things.
Right.
And then you look at his record and you're like,
I agree, but I'm just saying.
Who is this guy?
Right, but at the same time, even if you look at the stats and don't look at the stats, and you just look at the quarterbacks themselves, Kirk Cousins, like you just watch game film, Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback right now than Alex Smith. Numbers or not.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't.
I think the Vikings this year are suffering from not having a running game.
Well, Dalvin Tomlinson's coming back.
Dalvin Cook, yeah.
Dalvin Cook, sorry.
He's coming back, but even before those, Steven, they were still last in the NFL in rushing.
Right. They've had a big problem running the ball this season.
Right.
Completely.
They've kind of struggled.
But it has hurt a lot that Dalvin Cook's been hurt.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's been struggles of protecting
Latavius
Kirk
Murray
Cousins.
isn't a scrub either. So I think this goes back to the offensive line once again. I mean, if you don't have an offensive line in the NFL, you're screwed.
Right. And they don't have the best one, but they have enough to protect. Give them time, but it's not the best.
Yeah, I mean, last year they struggled to protect Case Keenum, but they still won games.
Right.
So I think it's Philly and the Vikings are having the same type of problem this year. The level of consistency.
Yeah, the consistency in the run game. Both are lacking a run game completely.
Yeah. And
I mean, the NFL is a league of quarterbacks, but at the same time, you at least got to have a running game to mess defenses up a little bit. You can't just have them zone in on the pass the whole game and just only put 4 people in the box.
Right.
That's just not going to work because it's going to create a lot of double teams and a lot of miscues on the offense, and defense is going to win that battle.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, well that's all we have for the weekend recap. We can move into go ahead and move into the highlight games for this next week. The big game in college football, like I said, it's going to be the week before rivalry week in college football, so a lot of games are just going to be, you got Alabama playing Citadel, Auburn playing Liberty, Georgia's playing a nobody.
Texas A&M, UAB, Syracuse, Notre Dame.
Syracuse Notre Dame is the game we're going to talk about. Is the big
that
game in
day
college
this
football.
weekend?
It is not. UCF Cincinnati is actually game day. They're at UCF.
Shows you how bad the weekend is.
As I say, but the Syracuse Notre Dame game is in Yankee Stadium. Notre Dame is actually a 10-point favorite in this game. It's really I don't really consider USC as a really hard game for Notre Dame next week, but this is kind of the last test for Notre Dame before they go into the playoffs or play USC next week because they don't have a championship game. So this is their last real test. Syracuse has been a surprise team in the ACC, and they've really played well. I believe they're ranked 16th right now.
I think they're higher than 16th. I think they're a little higher
12th,
than that.
12th. They are 12th.
No, I thought they were higher. Yeah.
So Syracuse is 12th and Notre Dame is 3rd. And like I said, Notre Dame is a 10-point favorite. I think Notre Dame does pull this game out. I think Notre Dame has more talent than Syracuse.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have.
I think this game will. I think it'll be a close game. Surprising. Syracuse has a really good defense this year. And they've shown it. And like I said, they're a surprise team in the ACC, and they played really well. They played really well against Clemson. They barely lost to Clemson and everything. So I'm excited. I mean, I think this will be one of the good games to watch. You also have the UCF Cincinnati game. Cincinnati's 24th? Is that correct?
Are they ranked?
They are. They ranked in this when it came out.
Conveniently, just make sure they're ranked for this matchup this Saturday, right?
Convenience, right? So UCF is 11th and Cincinnati is 24th. They don't actually have a line for this game
now,
yet.
Cincinnati's defense is ranked 5th in the college football in total defense, so they're not.
So
a joke,
Syracuse sits 8-2 overall with losses to at Clemson and at Pittsburgh.
Right.
Of course, Clemson was the game right after, of course, Kelly Bryant transfers out. Trevor Lawrence becomes the full-time starter. 27-23, the final score there.
They barely lost that game.
Barely lost the game.
They should have won that game.
Had a chance to win it.
That would have been their second consecutive year beating Clemson, too.
And also, it would have been a difference in them possibly playing for an ACC championship game
Correct.
as well.
Correct. Like I said, they're a surprise team this year, and I think they can make it. They can keep it close with Notre Dame throughout because we've seen Notre Dame struggle. I mean, they struggled against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm not picking Syracuse to win or anything. I'm just saying it has the potential to be a good game.
I mean, I think that Syracuse definitely it can impose a threat to Notre Dame on paper. When you look at it overall, I think on paper they match up well. Who is this? Eric Dungy? Eric Dungy is the quarterback? I don't know. Anyways, I don't know a lot about Syracuse. I just know that they've been playing some good football at the last few weeks.
Playing good football. They have a good defense. They've been a surprise team. They beat up on Clemson. Should have won that game. Clemson made a good comeback and ended up winning it.
I guess it's just a point of how valuable how much value you put in Notre Dame so far and what they've done on
That's what I'm
their
saying.
schedule.
The real thing of this game is it's Notre Dame's last real test before.
Oh, we got microphone holding Tyler now.
Oh my gosh!
Tyler's holding the mic. He's eating the mic now.
You know the show's getting real when Tyler holds the
show
mic.
is getting real.
It's getting serious up in here.
And then we have UCF Cincinnati, and I think UCF. I will say Cincinnati will win this game, even though it's in Orlando. UCF just hasn't played well at all this season. I mean, they've barely edged out wins when they should have won a lot, and I think they have one of the worst. You know you unplugged the mic there, sir.
he just completely just unplugged. Oh, there it comes. There it comes.
Okay.
Nope. Yep.
You mean Stanless?
You mean Stanless.
I was say I think that's a wire. Completely messed me up there. Okay, Cincinnati.
Well, we know Tyler can really throw Steven off just by taking the stand off.
I just can't take my eyes off
the
of him.
TV.
He's got everything going, man.
I mean.
It's so many distractions.
He can't get enough of me already that I'm living with him.
Oh, my gosh. I'll pick Cincinnati to win this game, actually, against UCF. Because, like I said, UCF is, I think, I think any other given FBS team has a 42% chance to go 9-0, which UCF has done. But, I mean, 42% for any other team in the nation.
Give me 42%. UCF by 14. Mackenzie Milton shows out.
Wow. I'll pick Cincinnati because they got a great defense.
What's the line on this game?
They don't have one yet.
What are you looking
it's
at?
Tuesday and they don't have a line. Are you
Looking at
serious right
ESPN,
now?
Staring at ESPN.
Nevada.
Every other game has a line.
You're right.
Bavadas.
They don't have a line listed here. Do they have a line?
Every other game has a line listed, so I'm assuming they don't have a line until tomorrow.
Unless
a lot
this
of
is
times,
a pick 'em.
Well, a lot of times, no, it'll say pick 'em. A lot of other times it'll say they give it Wednesday, so I'm not too surprised at that because I've seen other games they give it till
That's
Wednesday.
funny. Wow, it's
You're
just
talking
funny
to
that
the-
every
hey,
game has a pick except for that one.
You're talking to the rundown maker here who looks at the lines, okay? So I would know.
Oh wow, we don't want to mess with that now.
I'm already in his head enough. Don't piss
I
him
would
off
gauge
anymore.
though, if I had to put a gauge on this game, I would say that UCF would be at least a 10 to 12 point favorite.
Okay.
Probably.
At home, I mean, you'd have to think. Now, like Steven said, they have not been playing like the UCF
I don't know if
of
they'll
last
be
year.
that big of a favorite. I think they'll be like a 6-point favorite. That's what I put them at.
At home,
Mm-hmm.
9-1 Cincinnati. So is this game pretty much to decide who wins their? Are they in the same division in this league for the American Athletic Conference?
You're asking the wrong person, sir.
Let's look it up. I'm very curious now. I want to know.
So while Cole looks that up, we'll go into the NFL highlight game of the week.
Chiefs and the Rams, baby. Game of the year.
Way to steal my thunder, Tyler. Yes, Chiefs and the Rams.
Well, he is holding the mic, so he's
are
kind
you
of like the guy
Are
announcing.
you like
it.
Bruce Buffer?
Yeah, sort of.
And in this corner.
Okay, so UCF and Cincinnati, by the way, are vying to play for the American Athletic Conference Championship. So if Cincinnati, this has big implications for this conference. So Cincinnati is going in there trying to win this division. So just throwing it out there, that gives you some ammo for why you think they might upset UCF
I'm still
because they're
picking
playing for
Cincy.
something extra. I think Cincinnati can win this game too. I
I'm
honestly
picking
think
Cincy.
so. Yeah.
Going for Cincy. Going for the upset.
Speaking of just teams though, how about SMU is on the other side of leading it, and they're leading with a 4-2 record in conference.
Tough.
With an overall record of 5-5, guys. 5-5. Their overall record is 5-5, and they're leading the Western side. That just
conference
shows
is
how
trash.
bad
Yeah.
the American Athletic Conference is. Now Steven's gone full.
Interesting.
Just I'm not. I gotta say, guys, I'm not gonna take my mind off
Interesting.
stand. I gotta say, I'm just not gonna.
I just
take my
wanted
mind
to be
off
Tyler.
stand.
Interesting.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that. I just can't do it. I just.
Try to be me, Steven.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't.
Tyler's other. We still need to put Tyler in different places for the show.
I was gonna say
next
we
time.
still haven't done that
We
yet.
still need to do him.
Well, once
maybe
we get the equipment for it,
Sideline
we'll do it.
reporting.
Maybe
just
we
put-
could do it,
when
like,
we
in
get
the bathroom
When we
or
get the
something like
green
that.
screen, we'll just put a green screen behind him. Put like different.
Yeah, we'll put him
locations
like in the
behind
Sahara
him.
Desert
Yeah,
or
we'll
something
just
like
put it-
that, and he'll just be
reporting
popping up
somewhere.
places.
He'll just be
Where are
reporting
you
somewhere.
now, Tyler? Well, I don't
See, that's
really
where
know.
that's where we can do. Hey, we're trying to get Tyler to guess. You know, we'll basically we're just gonna
Yeah,
become
I
a
like
game
it.
show, guys, where we just have Tyler
we
guess.
give him like hints and clues.
Yes, it looks hot out there where you're at, there, sir. Is it a little hot there?
Is that a camel out there drinking? And he's just like, oh, okay, I know where I am.
Okay, but anyways, back to NFL, back to the highlight games.
The Chiefs and
and
the
the Rams.
The
Potential-
Chiefs and the Rams.
Potential game of the year here. It's actually breaking news today. They will not be playing in Mexico City because of the bad field conditions. Are you laughing at the field conditions?
No, I just thought of a vine when we all did it at the same time. I thought of a funny vine. Sorry.
But
Good.
they will not be playing in Mexico City. They'll actually be playing in Los Angeles. So it gives the Rams a little bit more of a home field advantage there.
Guys, this Rams defense overrated.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the
is-
Seahawks
it
put
has
up
been
35 of them this past
It has-
weekend.
well, it
Saints
has-
put up 45 points on them.
Their rushing defense has been god awful. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you have that bad of a rushing defense?
With Aaron
when you have
Donald and
Dominican
Dominican
Sue,
Sue.
Aaron Donald, and what's their third lineman?
And then you got Dante Fowler is
He just got
more of a
there.
Yeah, he
pass
just got
rusher.
there.
He
but
just got there,
I forget
but
the other
he
guy's
played a
name.
lot.
But I mean,
He's
you
played
have
a lot.
you have so much talent on that team. There's no reason you should be doing this bad.
Oh, dude, totally. Yeah.
I mean, doing
I
this
mean, their
bad. I
offense
mean,
is
they're a
tremendous.
one-loss team.
No,
It's hard to criticize.
Defensively, they
Right.
shouldn't be this bad.
Well, I
defensively.
think this is what we've been saying all year is there's just so many great offenses out there in this league, and the rules, again,
the NFL is definitely catered to the offense.
it's catered to the offense. So I don't think it matters how great you have of defensive players. It's just the fact of the matter that this league is so benefit towards the offense, and there's so many great offensive players now. The defenses are hindered. They just can't do the same things
it's
they
the
once
year of
could.
the quarterback, man.
Well, it's the year. It's the year of the.
I'm telling you.
Isn't
no.
it the year of the quarterback every year, Tyler?
That's what I was
This past couple
literally
years.
reading my mind, Cole. I was literally about to say, is it the year?
And then every year, no. I see what he's
All right,
saying.
so give me your pick.
Yeah, Rams, Chiefs. Wow.
Technically, Chiefs at Rams because it's in LA.
Chiefs at Rams. I don't know. I don't have much confidence in this, but what's the line right now? I'm guessing the Rams are favorite, regardless if it was at the Rams or in Mexico City.
I believe it went up. They were favored either way, but it did go up because they were in. They're moving to Los Angeles. The LA Rams are a 2.5-point favorite, and I don't know if that is the same as it was when Mexico City or not. I don't know if they've actually changed it on the ESPN website or not.
Well,
I will go Chiefs.
Wow.
Will upset the Rams at home, and here is why. I think that it's been proven that you can score points on the Rams, and the Kansas City defense has been coming around as of lately. The pass rush has gotten there. The defensive backs have finally committed to playing.
Pass rush has been a lot better.
Has been a lot better for the Chiefs. I really do think. I think this game is going to come down to.
Go ahead.
It's going to come down to the fourth quarter. I think Patrick Mahomes makes more throws in the fourth quarter down the stretch than Jared Goff does.
All right, Cole's got the Chiefs. Who you got?
Give me the Rams. Rams score at will against Chiefs defense, so I'll take the Rams by 10.
I will say I will take the Rams as well because they have great running game. I mean, their offense is clicking on all cylinders. I think they'll have just enough defense to, outscore the Chiefs. Basically, I think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game.
Big game from Tyreek Hill.
All right, so you have a big game.
That's my X factor. I think Tyreek Hill has a big.
I'll say Todd Gurley has a big game. I mean, what a prediction!
Wow, what a prediction! I mean, guy has 988 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns. But hey,
what a bold claim!
Way to step out on a limb there, Steven.
Yeah, I try to make these fire takes here every now and then, and on the show, Cole. And then last, UAB at Texas A&M. We already touched on this, so I just want to get your final score, Cole.
Well, since I'm predicting to be a fourth quarter game, I'll go ahead and say it's close. So I'll say Chiefs. 40.
Where are you at? I'm talking about UAB Texas A&M, sir.
Oh, we've already moved on?
Yeah, we moved on.
Oh, wow. We moved on quick. Okay, so UAB Texas A&M, we're going scores?
Yes, just final score.
Okay.
That's all I want from you.
Oh.
Or at least give me how much does Texas A&M. Your pick's Texas A&M to win.
Yeah.
How much do they win by? You don't have to give me a score. Just what?
45.
Oh, wow. They score 45.
Yeah, I think they'll score 45. 45 to 20.
45 to 20?
I was going to say 42-17.
I will say it will be 31 Texas A&M to 17 UAB.
Okay, I like
Keep it
it.
a little bit closer.
That's really that's concerningly close if you're an A&M fan. 31-17, 14-point game.
I think it'll be a good game.
Woo.
So,
man,
as we're moving on,
it's that time. Is it that time for the 2-minute countdown?
That's what we're going with here. It is that time. It's everybody's favorite time of the show where we really just go through.
You could play it through that phone, and it would be going through the speakers.
I could, but I mean,
he did what he did, Cole. Okay?
I don't know Cole's password.
I don't have a password on my phone's block twist.
That's a bold. I think that is a bold move there.
Just making an announcement to Facebook. Cole is just so confident in himself. He doesn't have a password on his phone.
Bold move there, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, so going into the 2-minute drill, Tyler, whenever you are ready, sir.
All right. Maybe I don't need a password.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're slowing down.
0.5 seconds. To,
you're slowing us down here.
All right. Ready when you are.
Okay.
And
count us down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Duke at Clemson. Clemson's a 28-point favorite.
Clemson, this won't be close.
I don't think it'll be close either. Clemson wins. Like I said, not a very strong week here, but Clemson kills it too. I don't believe they covered 28 points.
A lot of terrible games to watch.
Cincinnati versus UCF in Orlando. I'll
take Cincinnati. I've been looking for Central Florida to lose a game this year so far, so I'll take Cincinnati.
I already picked Cincinnati, and I will stick with that as well. We're moving on to the NFL because that's how many great games there are in college football this week.
That's how many good games there are.
Packers at Seahawks. Seahawks are a 2.5-point favorite.
Seahawks still haven't really figured it out yet. I think the Packers are playing just good enough of football to win this game.
Packers have not won a game on the road this season. I don't think they remedy this week. Seahawks win. They win by a field goal. It'll still be a close game. Cowboys at Falcons. Atlanta is a 3.5-point favorite.
Oh, the Falcons. I mean, they're on 1 week. They're off 1 week. I'll take the Cowboys and bank on the fact that Dak will finally have a good game for the Cowboys.
Have you ever picked Atlanta?
Well, every time I try and pick them, they lose. So I don't know why I would pick them.
They just won 3 games.
And I picked them to win. Then they lost.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I thought they beat the Browns.
I'll pick the Cowboys too. I'll go against the Falcons. Just Cowboys are on a hot streak. Falcons are trending down after losing to the Browns. So I'll pick the Cowboys. Vikings at Bears. The Bears are a 2.5-point favorite.
You know, this was a game I tripped up because the Bears were actually pretty competitive this year, but I think the Vikings are just that talented. There's no way this Bears.
Vikings are very talented. The Bears' offense has been off the chain. Their defense is, top 3. So I will actually pick the Bears. We got Monday Night Football theme song in the background. I will pick the Bears to win this game because they're at home. Texas at Redskins. The Houston is a 3-point favorite.
I think Alex Smith and the Redskins team is going to keep it going. I like Washington.
I'll go against you and I'll pick Texas, and they do cover Texas. Houston.
And that is time.
Wow, we got one more. We ran out of time.
Just throw it out there.
Bad. Eagles at Saints.
Oh, come on now. You can't pick against New Orleans now. You can't pick against the Saints right now.
Give me your. So you're picking
Saints. Come on. You can't pick against them.
I'm guessing they cover.
Yes, absolutely. At home in New Orleans. Come on.
Saints are going to win. They're going to cover.
Yeah,
I just
come on.
want to give you a hard time.
Yeah, no, they're not going to lose this game. Absolutely not.
And that is your 2-minute drill, and that is also the end of the show.
Nice. Nicely done. Great show tonight, guys. Loaded show. Tyler's playing the music. Tyler's grinding over there.
Every week we have a loaded show, and I was thinking, we don't have that many great games this week in college football. Maybe we can trim down a little bit, and then we still go off on rants for 15 minutes.
Good show,
it was a good week to have other stuff to talk about because obviously having these little cupcake games is going to ruin us.
Well, it's going to get even better.
But hey, next week, Iron Bowl preview, rivalry week. We have a bunch of college football.
Next week
it'll be all college football
I'm
next
excited,
week's show.
just from this mini preview of what we can go into when we don't think we have that much news. I'm excited for what happens during the summer when there's no sports going on and what we can possibly get into.
Oh, we'll be reaching for some subjects.
There will be reaching,
sure.
but there will also be game show moments where we figure out where Tyler's at.
We're just gonna have fun with Tyler. We're just gonna have fun with Tyler and the
And
callers.
we'll just mess with Steven. We'll throw stuff up behind him.
We'll throw stuff on. We'll get really creative.
Some entertainment stuff. Like I'm more excited for that than anything else. So
great show today, guys.
If you joined us on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, thank you for joining us.
Tyler on the mic.
As I say, Tyler has us everywhere. So we're expanding, guys.
We love it. Next week, big Iron Bowl preview show. Make sure you come on and call the show. We would love to have your prediction for next week's game. Huge week with all the rivalry games going on. Make sure you tune in. We'll see you next week, 7:30.